The gentleman from Charlottesville, Mr. Toscano.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
Gentleman may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, it has been said that redistricting is the exercise of raw political power, occasionally sprinkled with doses of public input. Well, yesterday in the other body, we saw raw political power in full bloom with no doses of public input. As most of you in this body know, on the floor of the other body yesterday, without any notice or opportunity for public comment, a substitute for a House bill, for our House bill, was introduced which dramatically altered Senate districts. Our bill, our House bill, which is sponsored by the gentleman from Spotsylvania, was called Technical Amendments to the Redistricting Plan. But what the other body did across the hall yesterday was anything but technical amendments. These were fundamental changes in the Senate lines. Put senators into the same district. One change even shifted a member's district by 2/3. Now this action by the other body subverts the will of the voters who elected their representatives over there. And if this bill passes, and we will have an opportunity to weigh in on that, because after all, it will come over here as a substitute. Many citizens will have their senator changed not by their vote, but by our vote. And that's not what democracy is all about. Unlike our House procedures, where we value public input, and you remember our hearings, our multiple hearings about redistricting, we made sure that the public had an opportunity to comment about changes that were being made before they were enacted. But unlike our procedures over here, that substitute was rammed through with no hearings, with no public discussion, with no analysis whatsoever. Ladies and gentlemen, that action is probably unconstitutional. And you've heard the argument about how we can only redistrict every 10 years. But even if the argument on constitutionality fails, the ramifications of what happened on the other side of the body, on the other side yesterday are far-reaching, not just for this session. And we know those ramifications are apparent in this session. We've got important initiatives in educational reform. We've got transportation initiatives that I think may be put at peril by what happened over there yesterday. But independent of those ramifications for this session, we've got ramifications for the future of this body and our General Assembly. This action interjects chaos into the process of redistricting. If it is allowed to stand, we can redistrict every single year. And I know some of you are salivating at the prospects of playing with these lines. But we know that that is not a good process. Think about it, every single year. That is not the House of Delegates way. That is not the Virginia way. And this body is the only one who stands in the way of a bill that has ramifications far beyond what a lot of people over on that side imagined. When that bill comes to us, when that substitute hits the floor, I urge my colleagues to reject it and send a message about transparency and fair play that we value in this chamber. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.